Hello and welcome to another daily prompt video. This prompt is actually fairly interesting. Your protagonist is selected to enter the Hunger Games and is allowed to take one non-lethal item in with them. They choose something very unusual. So I find this interesting because it's actually going to be a short story based in an existing property, the Hunger Games. I actually really enjoy the Hunger Games. I've read all the books, including the prequel, and I've seen all the films, and I just love the franchise. So it was very exciting being able to write a character into this universe. So I've titled this prompt, the game is Riggs, R-I-G-G-S, and yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. As a reminder of the rebels murdering capital citizens who had to make do with using anything at their disposal to fend off attack, the year of the 5th quarter quell, tributes will be allowed to take one non-lethal item into the arena with them. Riggs' Rosehorn was reaped on the day of their 15th birthday, during the 125th Games, the 2nd quarter quell of the revived Games. The reaping was excruciating for them, not because they knew they'd have a high chance of dying, but because they now faced days, possibly weeks, of being misgendered by the entirety of Panem. During their interview with Nero Flickerman, they pleaded with the capital to refer to them the way they should be referred, and after facing laughter from the audience, they turned and said, "I am not in pain being who I am. I have known pain. I am a citizen of District 12 after all, so I know what I am. Who I am does not cause me pain. You are allowed to embrace your whole truths. You can wear whatever you like, present however you like. I may just be a tribute, but surely many of you understand what it feels like to grow up being called something you're not." The audience went quiet. They looked amongst themselves uncomfortably. Nero attempted to tear the conversation away from such a sensitive topic. "Riggs, what are you bringing with you into the arena?" The audience's attention was recaptured. Riggs looked between Nero and the audience and smirked, giving nothing away. "It's an exciting games this year, Nero." Puma's Temple Smiths clapped to herself, watching tributes rise up into the arena. "We know the items of 23 of the 24 tributes, but we still don't know what Riggs is bringing. What do you think it could be?" Nero pointed to Riggs, who was just appearing on the screen. "Looks like we're about to find out." Riggs rose into the courtyard of an ancient castle the game makers had created as the setting of this year's games. Riggs looked down at her outfit and wanted to puke. All tributes were wearing medieval-inspired costumes, which were all heavily gendered, likely a purposeful attempt to single out Riggs, who was the tribute everyone had their eyes on this year. Once the countdown had ended and the tributes had all scattered around, some heading for the cornucopia, some off into the castle, Riggs looked up, knowing a camera must be up there somewhere, and reached into her sleeve. "Looks like Riggs has something quite literally up, Riggs' sleeve," Nero commentated the event. Riggs pulled out a rolled-up parchment of paper and began reading it out, catching the attention of not only some tributes dotted about nearby, but also the homes of every Panem citizen watching. "On grounds of not being a young man or young woman, Riggs Rosethorn is exempt from participating in this year's games, as signed by Jack Screentree, their mentor." The country fell into silence and confusion. "Is this allowed?" Pumas turned to Nero in a panic. Nero placed a finger to his earpiece and nodded. "Citizens of Panem, we have word that Tillian Stork, the head game maker, has decided to honour Riggs' letter of exemption." The decision was announced to the arena, much to the relief of Riggs. A couple of tributes attempted to charge them. Furious, they got to just leave, but in a moment of euphoria, Riggs tore off their costume, leaving their naked body on display for the entire country. This sent the tributes into momentary confusion, which was just enough time for Riggs to be picked up and carried to safety. Once the games had ended, Nero sat down with the victor, Tazzle Nightbrand, from District 1, and Riggs for a final interview before the two set off on a tour of the districts. All attention was on Riggs. "Riggs, you've made history as the first victor of the Hunger Games to never compete in the games. How do you feel?" Riggs looked at Tazzle sympathetically. "I didn't win these games, Tazzle did. I was exempt and not a tribute." Nero glanced at Tazzle and shrugged him off. but due to overwhelming support you've received from the capital, you've been made an honorary victor alongside Hazel. You even have your own house in your district's victor's village. That must make you feel something. Riggs looked at the camera. It does mean something. It means that now it's been said out loud, no citizen like me who is neither man or woman will have to compete in the future. Nero tugged at his collar. The smell of uprising filled the air. The president, who was sitting at his desk watching the television closely, turned to a gagged Tillian Stork held in chains by two peacekeepers and nodded. There's no point crying, Stork. They'd only be shrouded by the ocean. Tillian struggled to nose as President Blaze rose from behind his desk. Once you're gone, I'm going to turn my attention to this Riggs Rosefawn and make an example out of them. Their mentor, their family, and their entire district if I have to. No one spits in my face and gets away with it. Blaze fell back into his chair and gestured for Tillian to be dragged away. He turned back to the television and growled as the knowing Riggs watched him from the other side of the screen.